Swinging a high drive into center field. It's at the wall. It is gone! Costas does it again. It's gone! It's into the bullpen! This game is tied!
And he swings and rips one to center field. It's high, it's deep, it's back, it's gone! Sale winds, he fires. Swing and a miss, strike three, it's over! The Red Sox have won the World Championship!
All right, welcome back to Play Tessie. It is episode 233. This is the official Red Sox podcast of WEEI. Remember, before we get going, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Rate 5 stars. Find us on WEI's YouTube channel. Subscribe there as well. Hit the thumbs up on all of our videos, which are in the Play Tessie playlist file there. And you can find us on the socials at Play Tessie on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Once again, not a full cast, but it's reversed now. Sammy's here. Pat couldn't make this one, rescheduled episode. The whole rain delay thing really messed with everything. But I really do think we're going to be full for the next one. So you got the Gordo guarantee on that. But yeah, heading into this one, it's just like kind of a confusing feeling because they win a series against the Reds. They blew Chase Burns' bolts off in what was supposed to be a pitcher's duel. And they followed up that offensive onslaught with another, like the first inning of the next game, they score a couple of runs. Roman Anthony with the big double, he's red hot, and that game gets delayed with the rain, but you come back the next day and they don't hit for a little bit, but they come through in the clutch when they needed to, and they won that game. And you're feeling really good about yourself. They go up 3-0 in the last game. You're feeling a sweep. And in the 7th and 8th innings, I counted 7 either base running, fielding, or managerial decision. Mistakes, errors, however you want to put it, things I wouldn't have done. I don't know. Count them up, 7. And that game goes from 3-0 to 8-4 before you can even blink. So it's a confusing feeling just because they won the series. I want to feel good because they won the series. That's what this is about. You win series. If they win 2 out of 3 every time, then they're going to end up in a good place come the end of the season. Even if they don't sweep, if they win every damn series for the rest of the way here, they're going to be in the playoffs. So that's what it's about. It's about winning series, and I don't want to lose sight of that. But at the same time, with the Red Sox, with the hole they've dug for themselves, with not necessarily in the immediate future, but after the All-Star break with the schedule they got coming up there, and with the competition inevitably getting better, like the teams that are competing for the postseason are getting better, and they're going to get better when they make trades. Like, you cannot lose winnable games. You cannot blow 3-0 leads late. It just can't happen. Like, these games, there's been so many of them that the Red Sox have had the opportunity to win if they just did a couple of small things right, or didn't mess up a couple of obvious major league plays. Or it's happened a lot this year, and it's frustrating because it's the difference between this team being under 500 and over 500. And yeah, again, I don't want to lose sight that they won the series, but it's hard because that game just ended 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, and the mistakes that I referenced happened about an hour ago, and that's what's fresh on my mind, even though there was a nice win earlier in the day. Again, I don't want to lose sight of it, but again, that's just why my brain it's in a pretzel right now, because logical Gordo is telling overall Gordo, hey, they won the series, you should feel okay about it. But reactionary fan Gordo is thinking, F that, what was that? So I don't even know.
Yeah, we're both Severance fans here. Is the logical Gordo the innie or the outie?
I think, that's a good question. I think logical Gordo is the innie, and the outie is the reactionary fan Gordo.
Fair. Hey, it's a weird place to be as a Red Sox fan. I'm with you. I'm happy they won the series. That's great. But you've seen this team. This feels like the same Red Sox team we've seen the last few seasons. They're heating up as we near the All-Star break / trade deadline. They're beating these teams. They're winning series, and you're feeling good as they're inching towards a playoff spot. But again, it's that hump after the All-Star break. And we've talked about it before on this show. We see the Cubs, Astros, Phillies, a lot of good teams right after the break.
Dodgers.
Dodgers. Geez. So while I'm happy they won the series, when they lose a game, they're ahead 3-0 against a bad team. It's the Reds, man. It's the Reds. You're up 3-0 with a
They're
chance
not that
to
bad.
sweep.
They're over 500.
It's
They're
the
not that
Reds, though.
The
It's the injured
offense
Reds.
is
It's
not-
a banged up Reds pitching like they're.
Yeah, no,
It's a game you had. You
winnable
could have
game.
won. Yeah,
It's
a
not like you blew
winnable
a
game.
3-0 lead against the Dodgers. If Ohtani and Mookie and Freeman get to you, it's like, okay,
Right.
we fought as long as we could.
But
Like-
they're not. Nobody's afraid of the Reds. Yeah. So yes, good they won the series. I'm glad they're kind of inching back towards playoff contention, that friggin' 500 mark that they love to hover around. But it's so hard for me personally. I'll speak for myself. When you just look ahead, what's coming, when they win 2 out of 3, but the third game is one they really could have had. It's so hard to get excited. And I don't want to come on here after the Red Sox win a series and be all negative. I know you don't want to do that either, but like, do you feel better at the end of today, Wednesday, than you did when you woke up today about this team?
Okay, it's 2 separate questions. Because what better than when I woke up? No, but better than I did at the start of the series? Yes, because they put together, like, yes, they lost the third game, but they put together 3 games in the series where the offense wasn't a complete dumpster fire. And I know, like, that's a really low bar, but with what we've seen since the Devers trade, like the Blue Jay series, I know they lost that series, but again, 3 straight games where the offense wasn't a complete dumpster fire. So it's now 6 games in a row. If the offense puts together anything resembling what they've done for, let's say, the last week now, and then you add Bregman to that, you add Yoshida to that, and like we can talk about that Yoshida first base stuff.
First baseman Yoshida.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Come on, that is so funny. 5'8" Yoshida hasn't. They were like, yeah, he played first base in high school. He's 31 years old.
Why was he playing first base in high school? Like, people just gloss right over that.
I don't know.
What was the situation where that was the move?
Maybe he was kind of like a poor defender in high school and they hit him at first. I don't know. Maybe he was 5'8", young in high school, and he was considered tall-ish back then. I don't know. It's still not that tall. But where were we even going? How did we get to you? Yeah, we've had this conversation before.
The point I was getting to was, if you put together the offensive output that you have for the last week, and then you get yourself into a position where you can add Alex Bregman and Masataka Yoshida to it, then yeah, you're feeling okay about yourself. I mean,
but this is why it's such a bummer, because we've had this conversation. We've said similar stuff to this like 10 times this year, and then the most recent, and last year, and the year before, and the most recent game we have to go off of is just a complete revert to all the bad stuff: bad base running, poor situational hitting, not paying attention, bad defense, questionable managerial decisions, even though I know we don't all agree on that. Like, it's just like you said, 7 things or whatever that you counted. It's so frustrating. And so, yes, it's good they won a series. I'm happy about that. They increased in the standings in the series against the Reds. But that last game, it just puts such a damper on what should be a series that we're excited about. But I can't, I'm never going to change how I actually feel to sound a certain way on the podcast. I'm always going to be honest. That just dampened my attitude big time. It's not that they lost, it's how they lost. It's just I'm so tired of it.
So, okay, will you hit the home run? And he had just such a great series, and he's such a good player, and we are so lucky to have him. He hits the home run in the 6th. You're up 3-0. Greg Weisser was in the game from the 6th. He'd gotten that last out of the inning. Comes back in for the 7th. Very obviously does not have it. Like, he loads the bases, no outs, no one warming. And this is kind of where the start of my questions begins, because you've got Jordan Hicks, you've got Garrett Whitlock, who can go for 2. And it's not a situation where, if we throw Hicks and Whitlock and then it goes to extra innings, we're screwed. Because no, you got Cooper Criswell. And yeah, like, obviously he's on short rest. You don't want to kill the guy, but he's ready to die on the sword if you need someone to die on the sword. And he came in tonight, and he didn't necessarily die on the sword, but like, you could go there. I didn't understand why Greg Weisser was allowed to stay in with the bases loaded to allow the grand slam, but then beyond that to then let up a 5th run, which proved super costly because they scored the 4th run the next inning. That leads to the second mistake, which was Romy Gonzalez trying to stretch a double into a triple on a ball off the monster in left, which we were texting in the group chat, Sammy, and you said that has never happened. And like genuinely, I cannot remember a time where a ball off the monster has turned into a triple. And he was out by 4 or 5 steps. Like it wasn't even.
It has
close.
to be. It has to go off the monster, kick towards center field, and the center field has to like fall down or something. That is almost never ever a triple. And like, sure, we've been watching the Red Sox forever, and Romy Gonzalez hasn't been on the team as long, but he spends more than enough time at Fenway to know when the ball hits that part of the wall. Especially like know the situation, no outs, man. You never ever make the first out at third base.
That's it right there. It's you got to know the situation before the play happens. Like they always talk about that like it's in the field, but you got to know the situation at the plate too. And he like obviously the camera was on him a lot, and you could tell he was beating himself up because it's not a player, it's a mental man.
He knows.
Mistake.
He knows.
And he gets it. He knows. But at the same time, it's like that right there. And I know Jordan Hicks didn't have it tonight and let in more runs, so like you can say it didn't cost them the game, but in the moment, like that game is tied going into the top of the 8th if Romy Gonzalez doesn't get thrown out at third. And hell, if they pull Weissert before, I mean, he threw 30 pitches, and this is a guy who has very obviously worn down, and like they're lucky to be getting Hicks into the mix here when they are. Mm-hmm. But 30 pitches, 5 runs. Like I don't know how Weissert was allowed to stay in that long. I don't know what Romy was doing running for third. Those were the two, in my opinion, most egregious mistakes that were made, and like obviously it changed the game. I can run through the others. I wrote them down. There were 7 of them, and we don't agree on all of them. I thought, and we were texting with Pat too. So Pat and I thought that Refsnyder should have hit against the lefty. I was thinking he should have hit for Duran, but honestly, with 2 outs, no one on, I understand why you stick with Duran. But once Duran was on, we thought he should have hit for Anthony. I also thought Duran should have been running. Neither of those things happened. Anthony strikes out. Inning ends right there.
Yeah, so if Duran had been kind of... So the way I was looking at the situation, 2 outs, runner on first, it's Duran. Duran has not been running as much as he did last year. So in my head, I'm thinking, like, I would love for him to run, but I feel like he's not super confident. I'm not sold that he's going to run.
And it's a lefty.
Yeah, and it's a lefty. With a decent move as well.
But he threw over twice, too. Like,
yeah.
Once he threw over twice, he didn't go.
So everything I'm about to say... out the window after he threw over the second time. It's too late at that point. But I know I'm not going to know he's thrown over 2 times. You can't know that. But my thought process was, I want Duran to go, but I don't think he's going to go. Roman's been hot lately. It's only the 7th inning. You got 6 more outs to play with if this doesn't work. If you bring in Refsnyder, you need a double or more. What are the odds he does that? Not great. What are the odds you'll need him later in the game? Probably better than the odds of him hitting that double. So I don't think it was a big, it turned out to not really matter much. But yeah, I'm fine with Cora sticking with Roman Anthony in that spot. I feel like it's, he's going to be a star of this team. It's, Rogers is an okay lefty. He's had some success, but it's not like he's facing Chapman out there. It's not an unhittable lefty. So I was fine with it. I got what you guys were saying. I wouldn't have hated it if he brought in Refsnyder to hit the lefty. I wouldn't have complained, but I wouldn't have gone to him in that spot. I would have stuck with Roman, even though the result was not what we wanted.
Thing is, Roman Anthony, going into the at-bat, 4 for 20 against left-handed major leaguers this year, now 4 for 21, and that's an arm angle that pretty confident Roman has not seen before. And, obviously a tough spot to see it for the first time in that spot. Again, not the most egregious. Like if we're going to get on Cora for anything, to me, it's the Weissert thing. And
yeah,
I don't know when the time is going to come for Weissert to. I mean, I think lately they've maybe tried a little bit to tone it down with him, and they certainly have with Bernie. But at a certain point in time, and maybe it's not soon, because I'm trying to think. I know they shut Birdie down, and I'm trying to think of anyone else. Like I guess maybe if Houck comes back as a reliever or something. But like when could a fake IL stint for Weissert be coming just to get the guy some rest, which they did last year.
Dobbin should be back.
Great.
Dobbin should be back soon. Yeah.
And then,
I thought,
you can move Bueller to the pen, but he could use a fake IL stint too. Like,
oh man, nobody
or
needs a
he
fake
could just
IL
get
stint
DFA,
more.
to be honest. But
Yeah,
whatever.
I would fake IL Bueller just in case someone wants to give you a fringy prospect or something for him. But
Hey guys, he's really good in the playoffs.
he was good. He was good. He could bounce back, and
He's done it
the
before.
Red Sox could pay like half the money remaining and be like,
Sure.
give us your 15th ranked prospect. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yay!
Or the Braves could take him because I made the Who Says No, and then Schwellenbach broke his elbow. All right, hold on. Divert for a second. People hated my Who Says No. They hated it. They hated it.
Yeah, you know why? You know why? We should have put something about Olsen's money being in that deal because that's like a huge factor. I don't think the Braves would say yes, but I wasn't like that's a terrible idea, Gordo. I was like, probably take out Bueller, maybe add a little bit more from the Red Sox side. But it wasn't like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The truth is, it's the same reason that people said that the Red Sox got nothing for Devers. Like the truth is, no. What the Red Sox got for Devers was they're off of $250 million.
Let's go.
And they gave away a guy who's making, like, because when a player is making the amount of money that his production deserves, in theory, the prospect return for said player should be minimal to none because it's like you don't give up a player for a free agent contract, and when you do have to give up a pick, the guy gets less money in free agency because you're giving up the pick. It's all intertwined.
I am going to have a Jaron Duran Who Says No in a week or two here, and you are gonna hate it. You're gonna be disgusted. You're gonna be thinking it's disgraceful.
You should go next.
Okay, I'll go next.
Because you'll do the opposite. Like you'll say like Duran for Jeremiah Estrada or something. It'll be the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
That's what I was thinking with Jeremiah Estrada.
You should do it.
But no, not one for one, but like that's the bones of it. Yeah, man, you were getting
honest to God. Who Says no?
No, I will. I'll give realistic.
I hate to say that people don't know ball. I understand saying no, but this was not like a. Sorry, Joe. This was not the Bo Bichette trade. It just wasn't. Like you put it in the trade machine.
Here comes Joe. Wait, I want to hear Joe.
This is equal the amount of hate that I got for Bo Bichette.
It's close.
It's up there. It's up there on the list as the most hated Who Says No's we've had.
It's definitely the second most hated for sure.
It's because Duran is so there's such a massive spectrum on Duran. Like do you think he's the low 700s poor defender that we've seen this year, or is he the 21 home run, leads the league in doubles and triples and plays close to glove defense? You could even play him in center field. By the way, he steals your 30 bases. Jaron Duran that we saw last year. It's a massive, massive difference. And that's why people are going to have very strong opinions one way or the other about Jaron Duran. I doubt there's many people who are like, oh, as with most things, the truth is somewhere in the middle, and the real Jaron Duran should be a moderate return. Like, it's either he sucks or he's great with trade things like this on social media.
Truth is, like, the way I think about it is look at the trade return that Dalton fucking Varsho got. Like, Dalton Varsho is the essence of mid, but because he had a shit ton of team control, he got a top 10 prospect in the game.
Okay. The only thing I'll push back on is he played elite center field defense, so he was always a high floor guy. But I hear what you're saying.
No,
I hear what you're saying.
I agree, but Duran has a reasonably high floor too, just because of the base running. And like the defense, I get has been bad this year, and the eye test certainly defends that it has been bad. But the metrics, you can't with a Fenway left fielder, it's always hard. Like, has he truly been, what is it, like 10th or 11th percentile outs above average? Or is it because he plays half of his games in front of the monster at Fenway? Like, I feel it hasn't been good. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, because last year it was legitimately good. And this year it definitely has been below average. I'm not trying to say it's been good. But I do think Duran has somewhat of a floor.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He's got speed. That automatically brings up his floor just because he'll get extra hits for that.
I wish I could have asked the people, like, the follow-up that I asked you guys, like, if you remove Bueller, what is your opinion? If you remove Caminiti, what is your opinion? But, like, it's just Twitter, and, like, people are going to come in hot. And, like, I get it. People don't evaluate like they evaluate the deals based off of the names in the deal, and it's Matt Olson's the best player in the deal, and the Braves are giving up more. Like if you compare Olson and Duran, Olson is better than Duran, but then the Braves are giving away more pieces and eating money. Like it's like what?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they're not taking the money into account. But whatever. I didn't think it was that bad.
It is what it is. I'm okay getting crushed because I feel secure in it. It's okay to say the Braves say no like that.
Before we get back on track, if you didn't catch that episode, the Who Says No, go back and listen to it after you're done with this episode. And the full trade was Red Sox get Matt Olson, Ken Caminiti, and Dylan Lee, who's a relief pitcher. Caminiti's the 5th ranked prospect for friggin' whatchamacallit for the Braves, I think. Something like
he's the 1st ranked, but like
65th on pipeline. Sorry. And then, which is good. And then the Braves get Jarren Duran, and Walker Buehler. So that was the trade. People were very mad at Gordo for that. Yes, they get to have Walker Buehler, the last pitcher to pitch in 2024.
However, they need starting pitching because since I proposed it, man, Spencer Schwallenbach, his elbows in smithereens.
Smithereens.
What is their? Let's pull up the Braves starting pitcher depth chart, and then we'll get back on track. Braves.
I love defend this trade, Gordo. It's Sale's out and Schwellenbach is out and Strider's back. All right.
They don't even have 5 starting pitchers listed on their depth chart that are healthy. They've got Strider, Grant Holmes, Bryce Elder, and then I don't even know who Didier Fuentes is, but
he's 20. He's 20 years old. Okay, so maybe the Braves will want Walker Buehler, is what you're getting at. Maybe Walker Buehler might be appeling to the Atlanta Braves.
Want is a strong word, but maybe
would acquire.
Could use.
Yes.
Maybe the Sox should trade from some of their starting pitching depth, but they kind of need it right now. But soon enough, maybe not. Maybe they want Tanner Houck. I don't know. But let's get back on track. I'm trying to. Do you want to talk about like the Jim Bowden stuff? Is that worth talking about?
Yeah, touch on it.
He said so basically the premise here is he pulled 40 execs that he said a lot of them are president of baseball officers and chief baseball officer, president of baseball operations, GMs. Like he's like, it's those people. He pulled 40 of them, and he said overwhelmingly the most likely reliever to get dealt according to them was Aroldis Chapman. How do you feel about that?
I mean, he's 37 years old. He's on a 1-year deal. Red Sox currently not in a playoff spot. How could you disagree? I mean, I'm going through the American League. Did he say the most likely in the American League or overall?
He said overall. The Pirates guys were number 2. That's where I would push back a little bit. But I get the premise here. Like, I'm sorry. Like the Red Sox are 2 games under 500, and they just acquired another guy with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball that's also making over $10 million. Yeah, like it's not that
right. But the Red Sox could just use that same logic and be like, well, we can replace Chapman with another flamethrower. Hopefully, we can miss.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what. Yeah, like I'm saying, like logically for them, they'll be like, oh, well, we're getting Slayton back, so that like, we want to get controllable guys. Like we may not compete this year. He's a rental, so like, we'll trade him.
I'm going to put the kibosh on this right now. If they trade Chapman, the season is over. That is a punt. Your bullpen is nothing without Aroldis Chapman. Absolutely fucking nothing without Aroldis Chapman. It is done. You have no shot. You've shot yourself in the foot. Congrats on your prospects. No shot if they trade Chapman. I'm just putting that out there right now. He is the glue holding that bullpen together. So, I don't know what he would fetch in a trade. I'm sure he would be extremely valuable at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, if things are the way they are, I think the Red Sox have enough major league talent, right? Or not enough, but they have a lot of major league talent right now. The young talent is unbelievable. The farm system is somehow still getting better, and the draft is coming up. I would be pretty upset if they moved Aroldis Chapman and punted at this point. Now, we have weeks to go before the deadline. Things can change. If they lose, 8 out of 10, I probably won't feel that way anymore. I'll probably say, you got to trade Chapman. If you lose this opportunity, then you're just wasting everyone's time. But as it stands right now, I think if you move Aroldis Chapman, that is it. You're done. The Red Sox are dead. I don't want them to do that. I don't think this is the greatest Red Sox team ever, but they certainly have a shot to make the playoffs still, even after all of our moping to open the episode. So no, I agree with Bowden. I think this is a likely trade candidate with Aroldis Chapman, but I do not want that guy moved right now, July 2nd, as we're recording. Do not want him moved.
Yeah, where I'm at is, if like for me with the Red Sox, I feel like either they have to buy or they have to buy sell. Like a straight sell doesn't do anything. Like if they're going to sell,
you can't.
Then you need to be, first of all, you need to be out of it. Second of all, you need to be getting stuff for next year. This is not some sort of, like, if they fall out of it, this is not going to be some sort of long-term sell-off. Like, no, you've got the pieces, the big threes they are here. Like they're ready to go. You've got Crochet locked up and in his prime. You're hopefully going to extend Alex Bregman. I guess we can talk about that part of the article next, but like your core is here. Like you're not trading controllable pieces unless you're like, obviously maybe they could trade Jarren Duran, but it's like any move that you make has to be either to improve the team for 2025 or to improve the team for 2026. So if they're 6 games out, by all means, trade Aroldis Chapman. Like, I'm not going to tell you to hold Aroldis Chapman if you're 6 out, but you also got to be looking to acquire controllable bullpen pieces that can help you starting. I mean, as soon as this year, but like if you're 6 out, we'll talk next year. What I don't want to see them do is they're 2.5 out right now. Like, if you're 2.5 out and you're trying to pull some maneuvering bullshit with Chapman, that's tough. Because he's not just some reliever, like you said, Sammy. Like he has been everything and more for this bullpen. The essence of lockdown, automatic, does not flounder ever.
Probably probably second best reliever in all Major League Baseball behind Munoz this year.
I'd have to look at it, but like the truth is, whether it be Chapman, Munoz, or whoever you want to talk about it, like when they come into the game in the 9th, gabosh, it's over. You're done. So that's not a guy you trade when you think you are going to make the playoffs and make a run. If you don't think you're going to make the playoffs, go ahead. But I'm begging you for creativity if you're going to sell.
I would have a longer leash on this group, the 2025 group, than in years past, because like you said, Gordo, the young guys are already here.
Yep.
And this is not a long term. We need to find pieces to help us in 2028. No, like you are the window. You know, you could argue should have started in 2025, but 2026, it's like you got to either be making the team better this year, like you said, or preparing for the near future. But yeah, I can't fathom trading Chapman right now. And by the way, everybody is going to point to Cole Reagans.
Oh yeah, that's so stupid. Can we stop?
The Royals traded Aroldis Chapman to the Rangers for Cole Reagans. And now the Rangers won the World Series, the first one ever for that franchise, so it was worth it for them. But they gave up a guy who looks like a legitimate Major League Baseball ace in Cole Reagans. The odds of getting a return like that for Chapman, it's like 2.5%. You have very, very, very low chance.
And you know what, Sammy? If you could guarantee me Cole Reagans for Chapman, of course I would do it right now. I don't.
Sure.
Fuck this here, man. If you can give me Cole Reagans, like
sure.
But it's not yet. It's not happening. But to your earlier point, where you said that this year's team should have a longer leash, I 100% agree. They should have a longer leash for all the reasons that you stated, and I think they do, because basically all of 22, 23, and 24. But let's stick to 24 because that's the only year of Breslow. Last year, it was like pulling teeth to finally get Breslow to the point in time where he said, "Yeah, we'll buy." Like I think it was like the day before the All-Star break was the first time he sort of committed to buying. And that team was that team was in a playoff spot and he wouldn't commit to it. This year, he trades Devers and then the team goes on a huge, longest losing streak in 3 years. And he's still saying that they're going to buy. So the leash is longer.
Idiot, dude. Why would he say that though? Even if he meant it, why would you say that?
I think it's the right thing to say.
You think? What? He set such expectations. I mean, you know what? I don't think anyone cares
in the clubhouse. Like it's like you just traded their best player. You need them to know. That
what if you don't? What if you don't buy? Then they'll never trust you again. Like what if he doesn't?
if they are 6 games out and they don't buy, I don't think anyone's going to be blaming Breslow. It's going to be, well, okay, they'll blame him for trading Devers, but no one's going to say, fuck, what the fuck? He said he was going to buy. Like, no one would.
I mean, it
would
still
be mad if
looks
he
bad.
did buy. If they're 6 out and they buy, I'm going to be mad.
It depends if it's controllable pieces, but
you're right. That's different.
But like, there's just no. You're saying it's good because it fires up the guys in the clubhouse in the immediate time.
If they sniff for even a second that you don't believe,
that's not that crazy. That's not that crazy. Okay, I hear what you're saying.
The worst thing that happens is like he said he was going to buy, and then the team fell out of the race. Circumstances change. Shit happens.
Yeah,
man.
that's not that crazy. All right, I hear you. I still don't think it was a great idea, but the way you're looking at it, it's not that. I hear you.
God damn.
Bregman?
You know what's going to be a great trade deadline acquisition is Alex Bregman, man. That's Bregman. The trade deadline acquisition.
We got to talk about him too.
Yeah, the other, I don't know which angle you want to go on this, but we can start with the Bowden portion of it, where he was basically just like, yeah, like I was surprised to hear some execs think that Alex Bregman could get traded. So watch out for the Tigers and the Mariners. If the Red Sox can't get him extended before the deadline.
Why would he be surprised, man? Why would he be surprised? The Red Sox haven't given out a long-term contract to anyone other than Garrett Crochet, who's literally Garrett Crochet, in friggin' God knows how long. Bregman's going to be very expensive. He's 31 years old. He's kind of on an expiring deal, kind of not on an expiring deal. Weird contract. Like, I don't think the Red Sox will trade him, but I don't think anyone would be surprised if they did. They just traded Rafael Devers. What am I talking about? Well, nobody would be surprised.
That's exactly what happened in my head today. Like, I read that and I said, well, yeah, I sure would be surprised if they traded Bregman. And then I was like, well, you fucking idiot. You said there was a 0% chance they were going to trade Devers. So, like, at this point, nothing surprises me anymore. But, like, if you look at it logically, they just kicked a ton of money off of the books, opening up the door for a big contract. They've got this guy who every time the camera pans to him, he's sitting next to Marcelo Meyer or Roman Anthony with an iPad in his hand. Like, clearly he is so important to this group, both on and off the field. I get that he's a little bit older and that their models are not going to suggest paying a 31
models.
I'm just telling you, that's how they operate.
No, I know.
It's not going to suggest paying that much money. It's certainly not the years he's going to command for a guy of his age. But, like, you need that guy. I'm sorry, you do.
You need a culture setter. You need a culture setter. I do too. Maybe I'm fooling myself being too positive, but I do think they're going to keep Alex Bregman. I mean, they just...
Are we stupid? Are we dumb for thinking
We might be. We might be. But here's my logic. They just tried to, I guess, kind of sort of make a point or like make an example of Rafael Devers. If you're not going to be a team player, if you're not going to have a good attitude, you're out of here. Go enjoy the NL West, Rafi. So why would they then not want a guy who is the perfect leader, the guy who talks with the young players constantly, like you said? He's with Marcelo, he's with Roman, he's chatting everyone up. He's a baseball addict. This guy's addicted to baseball. Why would you? And he's good. He's a good player too, bearing the lead here. He's also very good still. Was on fire before he hurt himself. So yeah, just it would make no fucking sense not to extend Alex Bregman, but there's a lot of stuff that hasn't made sense with this Red Sox team. Ergo, that's why I would not be surprised if he were to be traded, because it makes no sense, and this team makes no sense.
It's so hard to imagine what they could even get for him, too, just because he's making a ton of money, and he's also, like, people don't talk about it because everyone just assumes he's going to opt out, but, like, if he just, like, straight up tore his ACL in a playoff game, and is going to be out the next year, you're on the hook for $40 million next year of a guy that's not going to be playing for. Like, there's a lot of risk taken on that deal for a team like I was surprised that he said the Mariners, because like the Mariners, like, I don't know, that owner has not been willing to invest anything and take on like that.
Dude, they got the best rotation. They got the best pitching staff in baseball, and they won't spend on shit to get offense. I don't think they're going to take the Bregman money. Okay. Maybe though. That Devers trade completely broke my brain, because now every crazy idea that comes up, I'm like, no, that would never happen. But it could. Maybe if it did.
And then another one that happens because of the Devers trade is every single time a tiny little minuscule fear pops into my head. And like usually when those things happen, I'm like, oh no, like there's no chance. And then I think, well, that's what you thought about Devers getting traded. That fear popped into my head at some point, and I was like, no, there's no way. Like someone had told me, like maybe 3 weeks before that like, hey, like on the tape, like that, yeah, that could happen. I was like, well, that's certainly not happening in season. No chance.
Well, I'm never listening to you again. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
And then there you have it. So yeah, every single little fear that pops into my mind, including them potentially trading Alex Bregman. So yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. If I had to put money on something, I think he's with the Red Sox next year and beyond. But
I do too. I think they give him until it happens. If I were a betting man, I would say Bregman gets 5 or 6 years from the Red Sox, and it might be in a quote unquote overpay. Don't care. You need that guy, culture setter. Do you not remember Dustin Pedroia, people? You need a guy like that, and they're not the same person, I know, but you need a guy like that.
Predict the contract. I've been going back and forth with a couple of things. I've settled on 6 years. That's where I think he's headed.
Okay, let me do some math. 6 years, how much?
Let's say 6 years times, we'll say 27 million, 162. 6 for 162.
6 for 162. Yeah, 162 divided by 6. Yeah, 27 million. I was gonna say higher AAV, 1 year shorter. Like
that could happen too.
Like
because that's what the Sox will want.
Yeah. So like, what if you did?
Because the Sox always like while teams like the Padres will say we'll give you the extra years to lower down the AAV. The Red Sox have always, like, let's keep this thing shorter. We'll give you more money.
So what if you did 5 years, but like a couple mil higher? So like 165. So they could conceivably say, look, we'll give you more money, but it's one less year. Now it's only 3 million more than what you said for an entire less year of playing Major League Baseball. But that'd be a higher AAV though. That's the problem.
That'd be 33.
Yeah, 33, which right now sounds like a ton, but 2028, how will 33 sound? So I'm just, it's a lot. It's going to be a lot no matter what, but it depends. I'd be cool with either of those. 6, 162 you said, and then I said 5, 165.
Somewhere in that ballpark though. Like that's what it's going to cost. And it's just so funny because it's like next year, if you sign Bregman to one of those deals, you're paying him. I mean, obviously if you defer the money the same, but like against, actually, I don't know what it is against the tax because of the deferrals and they do present day value, but it's 40 million. And now it's going to be, let's say somewhere between 27 and 33 million. You're saving $7 to $13 million there. And if Giolito's back, he's making around 20 this year. If he's back next year on that option, that's going to be, what is that? 12 million on that option, team option, or is it 14? Either way, like you're saving $6 to $8 million there.
I think it's more than that. Isn't it more than?
I remember.
Here, let me see.
Here.
14. 14, not that bad.
Okay, so you're saving like $6-ish million from what he's making this year, and you're saving that on Bregman. You saved a ton on Devers. Walker Buehler comes off the books. Chapman's not on the books. Like there's a ton of money to play with, and that's why stuff like a Bregman extension. Bradfo just talked to Roman Anthony about whether he's been approached, and he said nothing since he got to the majors, which kind of implies they maybe talked when he was in the minors. Pay him, like those types of deals. Trade for the Braves, man. Bat. Go trade for another high-level starting pitcher and extend him. The crochet model. Do it again. Like
Braves do what the Braves did back like a few years ago. They locked up all their good young guys. They had a veteran presence in there too. Ding ding, the Braves. That's it. You want to be the Braves, just not the 2025.
Not this year's Braves.
Yeah,
because if you're this year's Braves, you have to trade the Red Sox Matt Olson. So
and Ronald Acuna Jr.
Ronald Acuna. Ronnie A.
Ronald Acuna. Yeah, I want to mispronounce his name. Ronald Acuna Jr.
All right, Sammy, before we get to enough said, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and we're going to get through these quickly. Does Masataka Yoshida play a single out for the Red Sox at first base?
No.
I don't think so.
No. He's 5'8" and he hasn't played since high school. No,
it's not gonna. What's gonna happen?
I hope he does. I really hope he does.
It really kind of makes you feel foolish seeing your team have. Yeah, but no, I think what ends up happening is they trade an outfielder and he ends up being the platoon DH. Like the outfielder trade may happen sooner than you think. Because like if they keep talking like Yoshida, they're like, yeah, like couple rehab games at DH, then he'll play the outfield and we'll go from there. And it's like, wait, are you talking about bringing him back like that fast?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Just fucking let him hit. Dude, can you imagine Yoshida playing first base? That image. I want to show that image to all the people who defended Rafi when Rafi was like, no, I will not play first base. Because now you got Masataka Yoshida playing first base, and Rafael Devers is in fucking San Francisco striking out 7 times in a row, and we're all miserable. Nobody's better for it.
So yeah, neither of us thinks Yoshida's playing first base. Second question, Trevor Story had the big hit in the first game today. Basically, it was practically gone. It was a huge hit, put him up by a couple, and then he had 3 hits in the second game today. He's been hitting the ball a lot better lately. What is your confidence level in Trevor Story?
My confidence level in Trevor Story changes game to game. Like I've mentioned this before, I'm pretty sure. You can tell how his at-bat is going to go after like 1 or 2 pitches. It is very clear if he's seeing the pitcher well or not. So I guess I don't really have a take on it until I see him look at 1 or 2 pitches versus the day's starting pitcher. So I guess overall I'm pretty in the middle with Story. Like I'm not over the moon when he's up, but I'm also not like, automatic out like I was in May when he was really ice cold. So I'm feeling solid about Story. And it's great to see him succeed because I think we all, we don't have much of a rapport with him, but he seems from what we've seen like just a good guy all around and a guy who's trying to be that leader. It's hard when he's missed so much time. So Story, always a guy I'm going to admire, and I'm happy to see him, play a little bit better. And so to answer your question, I feel good when he's up.
Yeah. In terms of my confidence, it's like, yeah, I feel fine when he's up now. Like, and part of that is because of the rest of the line. Like, they don't have really a middle of the order right now. Like, your middle of the order is 2 rookies and a guy who was signed to a minor league deal this offseason. So, like, yeah, when Trevor Story's up, it's not like I'm there. Like, I don't feel great about it.
Willier's been good.
Okay, you've got Willier too. You're right. I should give Willier credit. I was thinking like Roman, Narvaez, and Toro. But you're right. Willie's in that. I mean, it's just kind of one big clump. Like the lineup doesn't have like any fire in the middle, but there's also like no obvious.
It's not like a weak
Santiago
link.
Espinal. They don't have a Santiago Espinal in there unless like Wong or David Hamilton are in the lineup that day. Like. So, yeah, when Story's up, I feel like okay about it. But at the same time, would I be willing to sacrifice some of because I think he's a valuable part of this year's team, but would I be willing to sacrifice some of that if a team came calling and was like, yeah, we'll eat half of that contract? Then like at that point, I'd be like, all right, yeah, fine. Like, I'll take the hit.
But, do you think a team would trade for Story?
No.
I don't. Yeah.
Not at all.
Either.
I think one thing that we know with Story is like obviously the ups are nice, and I'm nervous that what we're seeing now is like kind of the new age Story ups, which are certainly not the ups that we've seen from him in the past. We're gonna get the downs again too, and we've seen what those are, and you should expect them. And hopefully the Red Sox have Alex Bregman and Yoshida and maybe a trade acquisition in hand by the time that comes around. But yeah, confidence in Story it's okay. It's okay. I'm happy for the guy. I'm glad that he's playing better.
Like a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
good.
Like it's fine.
Good.
Yeah.
The only team I could have seen trading for Trevor Story is the Braves, but they've fallen out of contention, so I don't think they're an option anymore.
No, unless it was like some crazy deal around him and Sean Murphy where you still ate money. But like it's complicated and maybe a little bit more of an off-season move. I don't know.
Unless they're both out of it.
If they're both out of it, shit, anything's on the table. But
Yeah, true. That could be like a swap that they look at for 2026. But yeah, that's along the lines of what I was thinking. Murphy, because Red Sox need catching. Like Narvaez, he's been great, but his knees are going to be mush if he catches every single friggin' game. So they either need catching or they need Wong to hit more, like he did on Wednesday. He got a hit. So
still waiting on the extra base hit, but he got the RBI after I declared him clean shaven. So shout out Connor Wong for...
Yeah, what did you do? You declared him clean shaven, but he wasn't actually clean shaven. You just declared him. What does it mean to declare someone clean shaven when they're not?
I AI'd him into a clean shaven face, and he drove in a run, so he's clean.
Oh, that was AI? I thought that was like an old picture of him. I thought that was real.
That was Grok, Goink, as we like to say.
Goink. Do people say that?
No, I say that. Goink.
All right, you want to go on enough said?
Yeah, I have two enough saids, so good. We should go now. First, Alex Verdugo DFA'd by the Braves that we talk about a lot on this podcast now for some reason. Just wanted to point out, and I tweeted this out, but like post Mookie trade, because obviously if you started at the Mookie trade, it's still a shitty sequence. But if you go after the Mookie trade, they took 1 year of Alex Verdugo where he wasn't good, turned it into Richard Fitz and Greg Weisser, and I know Greg had a bad game today, but overall, those two guys have been good for the Red Sox. And then replaced him with Tyler O'Neill for a year. They got him for nothing. He hits 31 homers for you. They don't extend Tyler O'Neill. He's now in Baltimore, so your division rival paid him, and he's now playing badly. You've now opened up a spot for your outfield where now you've got 4 really good outfielders, and you're potentially looking to trade one of them because they're all good. So just pointing out that sequence. That was a good... I know Craig Breslow has taken a lot of heat, deservedly so, but that sequence right there, I will point out, was good. And it was all him, too, because if you want to get on the Mookie trade, go for it. But like that was Hyman ownership or however you want to frame it. So that sequence, that is a sequence of dubs for Breslow. I'm building you up. I know everyone's mad at you, but I'm building you up.
Yeah. It's hard. It's so hard to just talk about anything positive related to that trade. But starting from when Breslow came into power, like he's like a dictator. When Breslow came into power, he did do a good job with those pieces. So, good job, Stiff Craig.
Good job, Brez.
Fucking stiff.
Do you want me to give my second, or do you want to go?
Go ahead.
All right. I hated the 1975 graphics.
Idiot. Fool.
I hated it.
Fool.
Okay,
no, and I'm glad that the sentiment was more positive than negative.
Oh, it's way more positive. Way more positive. Yeah. I wish Pat were here because we could have, because he didn't like it either. But everyone else loved it. And let me just say one thing. I didn't mind like the yellow lettering and all that stuff. Like, I don't care. It was the tint. The tint was what bothered me so much. Like, why are we tinting? Why are we making it harder for me to see it? Knowing tint in the lack of the K zone.
Okay, so a few things. Okay, here, this is gonna make me sound insane. If the Red Sox were not wearing their normal white home uniforms, I would not have liked it. I think that would have looked weird. But they were wearing their white uniforms, so I thought it looked fine. I think if they did the tint with like a much more modern looking uniform, would have been weird. Second, the matchup. Obviously, they did it on purpose to honor 1975.
To honor the World Series that they lost. Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is weird that they honor that team so much, but that's a different topic. I think it looked good. I think it was interesting, and knowing that it was only an inning or two, I could totally stomach the tint. If it were the full game, I wouldn't have liked it. But it was a cool little differentiation from the norm. Also, the font was cool. The digital yellow font, I thought that was cool. The ticker,
did not mind that at all.
Yeah.
Did not mind that.
But Nesson, who we're constantly ripping on, deservedly so, they did something creative, they did something different, and they're getting praised for it. And kudos to them. I thought that was it was a ballsy move because there's people like Gordo who hate stuff like that. But I think it turned out well. At least from what I saw on social media, the sentiment seemed to be more positive than negative.
Way more positive.
It just goes to show, like, when you do something different, not everyone's going to like it. Like the City Connect, the yellow marathon ones. I don't like them, but most people like them. So I hope the Red Sox keep doing interesting stuff like this. Like, don't go nuts. Don't do a whole game of 1975 style broadcast, but to hear the what is it? Between commercial break music, and it sounded like the 70s. And then Jemai was dressed up with the little
that was cool.
1975 mic.
Jemai was fly as fuck. That was awesome. That was so
producer cool. Joe, right on time with the picture of Jemai. That was smooth. That was. I thought that was cool. And like I said, his mic was the old school style as well. Just a cool thing overall. I thought it was cool, but to go back to what you said earlier, it's a little weird that they honor a team that lost. Yeah, but it was still like that's still that it's still a historic team.
Sammy, I know you fall in this group, but try to be honest. What percentage of the fan base do you think remembers that World Series?
Alive? Like now?
Yeah, like right now. That was what that like had that game on. What percentage of the fan base do you think? That's 50 years ago.
50 years ago? I think a lot. I mean,
you've got to be at least 60 years old to remember that World Series. Sammy, I know. I know, dude, you were well in your prime when that World Series happened.
Yeah.
What percentage of the fan base is 60 plus?
I'm not going to lie. I had to Google the players they brought into the booth.
I didn't know either of them either.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Like, those were not the stars of the team.
Was one of them the backup catcher?
I don't want to try to talk about them because I don't want to try to do it. I can remember like any jersey number from like 2000 to current, but don't ask me about these guys. I don't fucking know.
To put a bow on it, what I think they should do next is in the year 2027, when they're honoring the 07 team, bring back like the Nesson music in those days was awesome. And yes, I know that's because it was when I was a kid and everyone always thinks nostalgically about when they were a kid. Yeah, bring that music back. Bring the ticker that was like across the top of the screen. Bring that back and bring back Dawn. Give it one. Just give it
Bring
one.
back the ticket too, the ticket logo.
Yeah, the ticket logo. The ticket logo was cool.
So much more soul, so much more heart in that logo than the current corporate looking one.
And because it's cool, and you can do the Amica pitch zone that was in the bottom corner. It was not like overlaid. It was in the bottom corner, which it took me a long time to be okay with the K zone in the middle of the, like on the plate, as opposed to in the corner. I've obviously adjusted by now. Do it in the corner. And maybe, I don't know.
Play like Jerry's best hits between innings, like the best of Jerry Remy.
Can you get like? But in 2 years, are we going to be able to have like an AI Jerry Remy calling the game? Like,
that'd be sick.
That would be wild.
That'd be sick. But I was just thinking, like, play. Can they play the boob grab moment? That was like the funniest moment ever. I don't think they can play that on Nesson. The whoops.
Oh, come on! I've got it.
This used to be a family show. Whoops.
AI Remy, the oops. I watched this documentary about this. I forget, it was like a girl that got killed like on some road trip with her boyfriend, and they had like journal entries that she wrote, and they had an AI version of her reading the entries, and I absolutely hated every second of it, but they are capable of doing it. I don't know if like they can have it smart enough to call the game as it happens, but
I mean, at Coachella, they had like a hologram Tupac a few years ago. It's pretty cool. Oh. All right, real quick.
Give me enough said.
My enough said. The reason I wasn't on the last few episodes is because I was traveling. A friend of mine had a wedding in Napa, which is near San Francisco. Just wanted to give a shout out to Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants for being absolutely ice cold at the perfect time. I didn't have a single Giants fan talk shit to me about Devers or the trade because they had just gotten swept by the Marlins and then lost the game to the White Sox. It was when I was at the wedding. So, nobody had a thing to say. We were actually comparing who had it worse at the time. The Red Sox, who had lost like 7 out of 8 or whatever it was at the time, and the Giants, who were just getting beat up by the bottom of the barrel. So thank you for that cold streak. I'm not really a Giants hater. I think they're kind of a cool franchise, but I am no longer a Rafi guy. So I can't root for them. Won't root against them. Just can't root for them. So that's my enough said. By the way, San Francisco, I feel like it gets a bad reputation. It was a pretty cool city. I always have a good time when I go there. Family there. So shout out to my sister, Joanna. Had a good time.
I didn't even think about how impeccable this Rafi slump / Giants losing games. Like I didn't even think about how awesome that timing was for you being there.
Oh, dude. And the wedding I went to, The wedding I went to, the whole thing was sports themed. Like the vows were all about so my friend is from New Hampshire, so he's a big Boston sports fan. His now wife is from the Bay Area, so she's a big like Warriors and Giants fan. And so their whole speech was comparing their marriage to the 2008 Celtics and the 2015 Warriors, I believe it was, which I thought was great. So yeah, sports themed wedding, and I survived the trash talk, Devers and the Giants. So, whew.
Good for you, Sammy. Good for you.
Let's go Red Sox. Let's go Red Sox. Let's go Red Sox. Go Red Sox.
I love the
For episode 233 of Play Tessie. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget, subscribe, rate 5 stars, and find us on WEI's YouTube channel. Subscribe there. Hit the thumbs up on the YouTube videos, on the Play Tessie playlist there. Find us on the socials at Play Tessie on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. For Sammy, for Joe producing, I believe we're all going to be back on Monday's podcast. For the love of God, Walker Buehler, because Giolito's been really good, Crochet's been really good. They're playing the Nationals, who have like 1.5 good hitters. It's just Buehler, just give us something, okay? Right? 3 good. They got to win 5 out of 6 against the at least 4 out of 6 against the Nationals and Rockies, but preferably 5
out of 6. 5 out of 6. Give me 5.
Minimum 4.
Okay, fine.
Give me 5, but minimum 4. But it's gonna be very contingent on that Buehler start. So let's hope that they have a good series. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I think we're gonna have a full cast for next show. So Gordo guarantee on that. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I think I said all the stuff for the exit, right? Okay. Yeah. Peace. Give me go tell me how much you like my trade. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.